It's complex. I mean, it's complex because humans are complex, and
Right.
that's something we like to negate online. We should not undermine how quickly people can change their ideas. I know online it seems that people don't change their ideas because they are encouraged not to, but our ideas can change quite quickly. And so to cancel people for tweets that they made years ago, potentially even things that they said last week, I think it's just to lie to yourself. It lacks a certain self-examination that I think is crucial. If everybody was to act as though they've never said something homophobic, especially if you've ever grown up in a strongly religious family, I think you could be telling porkies.
I think that's true too. To be able to convict people who have said things years ago based off who they were at that point, at that stance in time. If they, because we all evolve over time. Just think about it. I'm not the same person 13 years ago. 13 years ago, I was in a different mindset, said different things. But to cancel me 20 or 30 years, or even in like this, oddly hypocritical to me. So I think she is right about that. But let's continue.
Talk so much about mental health and how important it is, and how we have to remember that mental health is just as important as physical health, and then to discard people at the first sign of something we dislike. The two don't marry very well to me. We undermine how easy it is for us to become the people that we dislike, with a different circumstance, a different upbringing, a different culture, how I could easily become a lot of the things that I dislike.
Just like I said, it's hypocritical.
And it's because of my own propensity to become those things. I'm hesitant about labeling things evil. I'm hesitant not because I don't think...
there is a difference between right and wrong. I disagree with that.
Naive, but I'm much more interested in the root causes as opposed to the symptoms. How do we get to this state where people think that, let's say, sex is an entitlement for them? People abuse power because we attribute it so easily to people. We treat people with fame and money like they are inherently different. I listen to a lot of music, I read a lot of writers, but my interest in them doesn't make them seem superior to me. It doesn't negate the fact that they could be harmful people in their private life. If we stop...
And, that's one thing too, like, to be on a social media platform, try to be the person you can be, or be an influencer like that. People have to remember that these are normal people too, just like you and me. But at the same time, they got skeletons in their closet too, just like we do. This is why you got to be careful with idolizing people and putting them on a pedestal, because they crap do stink also. So we have to approach this thing with wisdom, judge fairly, So some people get a pass, some people don't, depending on your income level, depending on your fame level. It's definitely okay to take a look back in the past and see who a person was. At the same time, to judge them for things that they said at that moment when they was in that mind state, in that moment of growth in their life. And if they got past it or they become better people, you can't really hold them to that. You know what I'm saying? But we just live in that society where, a takedown is gratifying people. Everybody don't deserve a takedown. Maybe there's some accountability, but everybody don't deserve a takedown.
Stop treating talent like it's synonymous with character. I think we will be a lot less disappointed in entertainers and some of our favorite people.
That's another thing too. You know what I'm saying? Because, if you actually look back in the past with Michael Jordan, awesome player, but they say he was like a bad teammate, or, there's known stories that, he punched a teammate at practice, you know what I'm saying? Like, talent synonymous with character. A lot of your favorite YouTubers may not be who they portray on camera. Every YouTuber is portraying some type of character. You know what I'm saying? Like, Me, on the other hand, I try to portray my best self in a given moment when I do these reactions. But that's why I believe in always having to say what you say, mean what you say, don't apologize for it. If you're wrong, admit that you're wrong. But don't sit up here and change because people come back and backlash you for it. It's kind of just like pretty men and women, like attractive people. You think attractive people have the best personalities, but they can bring the best or the worst out of your life depending on how they treat you. Being trying to be approved by these people because they have talent or giving them favor. We saw all that in high school. Hell, we watched that on Saved by the Bell and every kind of sitcom ever that came out. You know what I'm saying? That cheerleaders and jocks had some kind of status. They were kind of over the law. And then you just had common folk that would get in trouble for anything.
If you have committed a crime, a violent crime, a sexual crime, you should pay those consequences. I know a lot of people don't change, but I would never suggest that people can't change. They often do. I have. Many people I know have. And especially when you're met with the toughest adversity, I think that's a great mirror for change. I would say that it's easier to condemn people than ideas, because if we were to condemn ideas, we would see how those ideas have affected us at one point. We would see how those ideas are embedded in structures that we still defend. No one has a monopoly on toxic ideas. They kind of exist in all cultures. Changing your mind does confirm that you are still thinking.
Like these clips from Malcolm X.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or maybe even a year, and slightly cringe, without hating yourself. I think you are moving in the right direction. Part of the beauty of living is that we get to change our minds, update our beliefs, challenge ourselves, confront ourselves, and hopefully that brings a further understanding of who we are and who we are in relation to other people and how we are similar. So I think we should all be a little more humble.
And that's true too, man. Just like I was saying in the previous comment, like, saying you're not supposed to be the person you were 30 years ago. You're not supposed to be in the same place. You're supposed to always be evolving mentally, evolving physically, evolving with knowledge and information and stuff like that. The good thing about being a human being is always being able to adopt different ideas. You know who you are at the core, but when it comes to information, you're flexible. You're able to understand with wisdom how to weigh right and wrong and what's the best situation or the best decision in given situations depending on your experiences. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, it's just all about really being accountable to yourself.
We should always remember that just because something is popular, it doesn't make it good. There's a lot of things that are popular that are not good. There are a lot of things in history that have been popular that are not good. Sometimes popularity is just a measure of how much people aren't thinking. If your advocacy or activism is motivated by the fear of being cancelled, then you will adopt the popular belief. Mob culture is very terrifying. But I think if you are committed to trying to make the world a better place, or your community a better place, your society, your culture, you have to be prepared to think for yourself. Even if we look into the lives of some of the most prolific activists and thinkers, we're going to find chaos. And that's not necessarily because they're hypocrites. I don't think so at all. I think it's because they're human. So mistakes are how we find ourselves. It's how we learn. And I think there's something.
And just to kind of piggyback off what she said, mistakes is how we learn. You know what I'm saying? You won't learn nothing about yourself until you go out and risk some part of yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? You weigh the checks and balances on the situation that you're risking. And seeing, like, just being not afraid of failure, not being afraid to miss the jump shot, take the game winning shot, not being afraid to learn something new or try something new, and seeing who you are in that spectrum, and being able to adapt or take criticism. You know what I'm saying? That's the beautiful thing about growth.
Something on the internet that encourages us to see the world as a fight between good and evil. And it's not that. We're a combination of it all. We should be a bit more forgiving on people's mistakes.
Right.
We have to make mistakes. Life is trial and error. Awareness.
I just said that.
How much you don't know. And a lot of my beliefs and ideas are constantly being shattered. And I really welcome it. You know, I don't know about an objective truth, but at least if you're someone who's seeking a deeper understanding, you welcome being wrong. It's a pleasure to be wrong, because when you are wrong,
dude, I just said that.
Right. Maybe the first sign of knowing anything is knowing you know nothing at all.
Right.
Double Down News.
Right. First sign of knowing anything, nothing at all. There was a Christian apologetics style that knowing, I can't remember how it went, but it had something to do with that phrase right there. I do believe in an absolute truth. I believe a lot of man-made truths are objective. I believe that what we see as information in front of us sometimes can be wrong. Just historically, we've seen throughout the years how his history, even Black history or race, ethnic history has been misconstrued and changed over the years to fit a narrative, you know, for a certain people group. We've seen things come out in this age of information that, you know, we wouldn't have been able to find out 30 years ago. We definitely in a beautiful time to know something, but to, you know, when I speak on understanding, you know, you never know a chocolate cake is a chocolate cake until you bite into it. So I'll leave y'all with that. Catch y'all later, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, and share. If you like this kind of content, man, let me know in the comments. I'm definitely more adept to this kind of content too. So I'll holler at y'all later, man. Y'all know what it is. Hey, grinding, man. Peace out. Give a hearty shout out for everybody watching the video, man. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and watching this with me. Thank you for the likes, subscribes, man. And shout out to the Zero Division, man, for everything that you do. I appreciate you guys' donations. And don't forget to always pull out your sword and bang! Kai!